Please welcome to the stage a very, very dear friend of ours. We're in our 4th year of doing Risk, the live shows and the podcast now. And she has been there from the very beginning. She's one of our favorite regulars and a dear friend. We love her so much. Please welcome Miss Janeane Garofalo.
Thanks. Whoops. Hey, who's ready to laugh after that story? I was waiting she forgot the Holocaust and the Bosnian rape camps in that. No, Becca's, that's actually a great story. And she does yoga now and she's vegan, so. 3 weeks, what? And I bet her mom wanted her to get well. That's totally understandable. But no, unconditional, that's a mother's love. I am not being sarcastic about that. But I have always said, don't have kids. You don't know which way it's gonna go. Everybody loves a baby. I love a fat baby. Anybody who knows me, I love a fat baby. Fat baby foot is going right in my mouth. Dollars to donuts, right in my mouth. I like toddlers and tub time with the robe with the animal ears, but soon that kid will be 15, and yeah, you heard what happens. But that is not me taking a shot at Becca. We have, I even tried to encourage her to start smoking earlier. She's 27, for Christ's sake. It's time. And that's you guys can honestly say you never experienced that before, right? I mean that sincerely. I'm not being sarcastic. You can honestly say, whoa, I did not expect that. That's the arts, ladies and gentlemen. I feel a bit like my thing's going to be very facile in comparison. The theme that I was told that the show was from Kevin is, and not that it's a hard and fast rule, but the idea is thanks was the overarching theme. And so I was going from there, and there was a thanks in that. She's thankful for the unconditional love and all that. I'm not mocking anything. I'm being sincere. I know people think I'm being sarcastic. I'm not me. I'm very nice, actually. I'm a very polite person. Very well-mannered. I will hold a door. Honestly, I'm very chatty on lines, things of that nature. I'm nice to rats. I don't like it when people badmouth rats. I mean, if Pixar has taught us nothing, rats know how to pull together, God damn it. Some of them are fine cooks. And very nice. Give them a chance. But, all right, so here's what, let's get to the point. And the point is this. Okay, so thanks. But I did want to deal with this, and hopefully it'll make sense. I'm not well disciplined. I've only been doing stand-up since 1985. Give me a minute to get my feces coagulated. My aunt's here, so I'm trying to keep it clean. Hello, Marie. Did you enjoy that story? Aunt Marie? She's probably shell-shocked in some way. Anyway, so thanks. Okay, let's start here as a point of origin. And I hope you don't have, I know you probably have election fatigue, but I must bring this up. Now, as you may or may not have noticed during the run-up to the elections and on the night that the returns were coming in, the pundits would say, as they've been saying for years when they look at the electoral map, well, white working-class males will probably go overwhelmingly for Romney. You mean racists? Racists? That's what you're saying, right? Racist? So you're saying that just like it's a normal, it's fine? You know what I mean? And also, don't imbue it with just the working class. Racism is a state of mind. It knows no socioeconomic boundaries, but, you know, they would say that, you know, white working class males are going to go overwhelmingly for Romney, although in Pennsylvania, you know, they might throw us a curveball. And kudos to you, Pennsylvania. I used to live in Orwigsburg, Pennsylvania. I went to Dorney Park, and my father worked in Pottsville. That's true. I'm not making up local references. That's true. And he used to like a cocktail. He used to go to the Dusselfink. It's in Orwigsburg. Apparently, there's a Dutchish vibe going on there. Okay, so the electoral map. So they, you know, white working class, and I find that it should not be indulged, right? It's just, or George Stephanopoulos was this, racially sensitive people. That makes it sound nice. a racist, a bigot, a person, does anyone see what it's not racially, it's not a demographic that needs, I just spit, I'm so sorry, that needs to be coddled. We need to stop coddling war criminals, racists, hoarders. Come on. The hoarders are look, they're never going to clean that shit up. Let's get tough. Don't give them the chance to look through the box. No, we're going to be here all day. I can't stand it. That's how I feel about how they're treating the homophobes and the misogynists and the anti-intellectuals and all this nonsense and the corporate greed. But, if you're going to do that for demographics, then just stand in front of the map and say, okay, so Southern strategy, which is nothing they say, racism. They'll say white working class males are going to go for Romney. Here we have snuff film enthusiasts, sex pests, to make it sound nice, those that beat the elderly. They're going to go for Romney, we think, too, although there's a few undecideds in there. But what I try and you've heard of Buddhist tenets or Zen, like thinking of you should embrace your enemy. And I know enemy is used loosely as a term for somebody that either causes suffering or let's just say enemy. I'm going to call it enemy. And I'm not talking about petty grievances that somebody has done to me. I'm talking about cultural criminals, people that actively hinder the rest of us from evolving. Let's say, whether it be at Fox and Friends morning show or Ann Coulter, various and sundry. And I want to go on a limb here. I am against misogyny. I'll say it. I don't like it. But if you're going to aim it at Coulter or Michelle Malkin, I'll take it. I'll take that hate anyway and get it towards them. Now, here's my problem with the Zen issue, because I try and I read all these. I keep buying Eastern philosophical books, but I want to go through what my issue is here. First of all, I don't see them as a teacher. Now, I guess I can see, Sean Hannity as a teacher insofar as, wow, that's not who I want to be, or I guess my parents did something right in that way, but I don't embrace them. I don't want to coddle them like a hoarder. I don't want to. Why should they be coddled? The right wing, the Republican Party, the Tea Party, it's just a subset of the Republican Party. It's not grassroots. They're not deficit hawks. That's the rebranding coup of the century. They're not deficit hawks. Oh, by the way, the KKK was an agrarian socialist collective. They were very concerned with soil sampling and crop rotation. But, and all the talk of secession, which of course is again a not an organic movement. It is, I'm sure, it is a pretend ginned up thing. But there are some people who legitimately want to secede, and I say, goodbye. And again, a Zen would say, build a bridge. There's more that connects us than separates us. No. And I'm not saying that to be a cynic. And and nihilism gets a bad rap, by the way, in PS. Nihilism is just sometimes, what I see it as is there are those that see no value to certain lives. I agree with that. And I would put myself in that category. It's nothing special about me. If you were to minus me from the equation, if I had never been born, who gives a shit? It's no big deal. So I have no grand illusions. I'm not like one of those people on the faux reality shows. Boy, they're guilty of overestimating themselves when they do their testimonials as if they're just stopping by on their way to the UN. But I want to tell you how I punched this guy in the face first. But what was I just talking about? The nihilism gets a bad rap. That was a sidebar. But there was compassion. Okay, and building a bridge. I don't want to. Now, if Alabama wants to secede, now I know it's a small group in Alabama. Good luck to you. By the way, give them one hurricane, see how they do. That we don't want the government. By the way, a lot of those red states, as many of you know, are dependent upon many blue states, because blue states tend to pay more taxes than they get in federal dollars, and the red states tend to pay less taxes because they don't like the government telling them, especially if a black fella's in charge. They don't want to pay taxes, but they don't realize that they get more federal money, and a lot of it comes from New York and California, those nefarious coasts that they hate so much. But be that as it may, a lot of times when I have this argument with people that are of that persuasion of the no taxes, I just think, do you like highways? Do you enjoy airports and public school systems and police and fire departments? Those are tax dollars. So if you want to secede and there's a fire, maybe Rand and Ron Paul come by with a bucket brigade, and we'll see how it goes. Apparently God is a libertarian. I've been thinking about that recently. I used to be religious, and then I would say I'm agnostic, but that was just cowardly. So I thought, you know what, just say, I'm willing to believe in a God, I just need some proof. And until that time, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just saying that I just feel proof, and science is very comforting, answers a lot of questions. And some people say we just can't know with God. You just have to have faith. And I would say to you, do you believe in fairies and were-panthers? Great storyline, True Blood, were-panthers. Do you believe in were-panthers? Were-panthers. It's a mixture of a werewolf and a panther. In Bonton, in Deep South. But oddly, isn't it amazing? They won't let gays marry, and yet the Vampire Rights Amendment Act went right through. I don't understand that. And a lot of them still don't believe in messignation. A lot of people polled in the Deep South feel that blacks and whites should not marry. And yet the vampire right. If you go to a bar, let's say in Bonton, hypothetically, say Merlotte's, or maybe a bar called Fantasia, I don't know, and you order a True Blood, they have to give it to you. That's the law. And yet gays can't marry. But anyway, do you believe in fairies or were-panthers? Right, show me, right? You're from the Missouri, the show me say. So you'd say, no, I don't believe in fairies or were-panthers. I haven't seen one. And then you could say, but it doesn't mean it's not there. You just have to have faith, right? God, an entity so powerful it makes history, so powerful people devote their lives to it, live and die by it. Now, there's some people that are very nice with religion, but as you know, in the wrong hands, it's a loaded gun. I'm not talking about the nice ones, like the Duggars. They seem nice. I don't like that they deny their kids science, but I don't want to drag Jim Bob and Michelle into this. They seem nice. But, they had Josie, who was it's gonna fall out. The uterus is going, I hope she has like a nice undercarriage garment of some kind. I like Spanx. I like to keep all my troops in one foxhole. I just like Spanx. I know that she probably couldn't wear them or it's against her God or something, but so they had their last baby, Michelle, and again, the Duggars seem very nice. They had a baby, Josie, and this is their 19th child, and Michelle is a little bit older, and the baby was in the NICU as a premature baby, and life was saved by the medical team, and they kept saying, it's a miracle. Oh, no, it's a science. If there's any other reason or evidence that you should say science is good, without science, your child would have gone the way of, I don't mean to, dead. I mean, after what happened, why am I being coy about this? But I mean, it's a science, right? It's a science. They use cell phones. They use their computers, the Duggars and all that, and all those doctors and nurses and medical staff that help them are educated people who do not think the earth is 6,000 years old. And yet their children, they will keep into that idea that humans rode dinosaurs and things of that nature. It's bad parenting. And they're nice. They're nice. And Joan of Arc, she seems nice. Honestly, Joan of Arc, I mean, she thought she was an arrow of God. My theory is that she was a young girl who was in an abusive family, and she needed to go into a fantasy world, and then also unexamined narcissism. Much like patriotism. It's a similar thing. Patriotism for right-wingers and American exceptionalism. It's just unexamined narcissism. It would be the chosen people. Oh, God is a libertarian. That was what I was talking about. Why take the Adderall, Janeane? I don't have ADD. I just enjoy a Red Bull and an Adderall before the show. And seemingly, God, what would it be like if I didn't? Libertarian, God. Here's why I think that if there were to be a God, let's just say that there is one. And again, I'm willing to believe it. I just would need some proof, just like that Long Island medium. Come on now. And ghost trackers, ghost hunters. Isn't it amazing how much evidence they're not getting on film on a nightly basis? But anyway, The majority of Americans will sign off on ghosts, extraterrestrials, mediums, apparitions, miracles. But then you tell them that there's racism in the Republican Party. Oh, come on! Tinfoil hat stuff. Now you've gone too far. I mean, the extraterrestrials and the lady that's a Long Island medium who talks to the dead, yes. And ghosts, for sure. But racism, come on. Libertarian God. Here's why why am I going back for it? It's not even going to be that great now that I did it. But I would say he's a libertarian in that, and I know Republicans like to claim him as their own, as God as their own. But I believe he was a libertarian because look how he treated his chosen people. This is no nanny state, folks. Get out of Egypt. You're on your own. Bootstraps time. You're not going to like after a certain someone invades Poland either, but that's in the future. His own son, for Christ's sake. His own son. Let him hang. Let him hang. He got himself up on that cross. He'll get himself down. Personal responsibility. And Joan of Arc, as I mentioned earlier, devoted her life to him, burned at the stake. That's libertarian for you. Okay. Now, this is not at all, I went way off thing. Now, okay, so Zen, if we're going to be Zen, and be Zen. All right, so as many of you know, for Zen, there is, to be enlightened, you need to have enlightened understanding, enlightened purpose, enlightened speech, enlightened conduct, enlightened livelihood, enlightened effort, alertness, and concentration. Now, it says right in the book, but I can't say that word. It says right understanding, right purpose, but I changed it to enlightened. I just don't even like the word right. But you catch my drift. So all of these things, and it says if one has the enlightened view within one's mind, one will never be deceived. Okay, so if you don't have the right view, then you're easily deceived, and you need to see somebody's birth certificate. And you don't want gays to get married. And by the way, that's not a side to an argument, news pundits. That's not a side. Somebody who's a bigot or a homophobe or a misogynist, who wants to. Hey, you guys, is that in the simulcast room where there's 4 people watching on the simulcast? There's 4. Let them come in here. There's just 4 of them. Or maybe it's people who have had enough of Garofalo. I don't know. I don't blame them. But what the fuck was I? Okay. So if you don't have the enlightened view, then you are easily misled. And then I think Voltaire made a quote. I'm going to paraphrase here. It was something that those that can make you believe atrocities can make you commit atrocities. Do you know what I mean? Like if you are open to believing nonsense, you will behave that way. But I feel you have to be open to it. Like Fox News, you gotta want that shit. If you're gonna listen to Glenn Beck and stuff, you gotta be. Don't bullshit a bullshitter. You gotta be fairly open to that. Olive Garden, don't you dare try it with me. Olive Garden. Do they believe we believe there's a culinary institute in Tuscany where they're training the finest in James Beard award-winning chefs? Much like Taco Bell, who's jumped on board now, where there's a lovely Latina with a mortar and pestle just making you guacamole. Don't you dare. Don't you talk to me like that. And I'd like to quote Sir Bobby Flay here, if I may, before I go, as long as we're talking about that. Bobby Flay said this once, and it's always stuck with me. He said, "Don't be a hero, use a nonstick pan." You heard me. Don't be a hero, use a nonstick pan. Now, he was talking about eggs, but I'm sure you can see how you can apply that to daily life. Nay, a philosophy. Okay, so... Now, also some of the prospects of enlightenment, enlightened nature, don't lie. Don't slander others. Don't be angry. Well, you know what? I am angry at who I should be angry at. Again, this is not petty nonsense. This is climate change deniers and people that corporate greed and all this stuff. I have the right to be angry. I don't want to coddle them. That's, again, with the feral cats and the feces on the floor and the hoarding. That's how it starts. And at Ole Miss University, after the election, there was an anti-Obama rally where some students said the South will rise again, and then they used the N-word. I don't embrace you, students. You're young. I mean, you gotta wait till you're older and bad shit, have terrible divorce, and life didn't work out. Okay, that's how a lot of people get to be right-wingers. Because it shouldn't be young. It should be after life has done you dirt, and then you're like, I'm mad, I'm gonna pretend it's politics. In the same way that a lot of people who are anti-choice, it's not pro-life, because you've asked the average pro-life person, they're pro-death penalty, pro-war, pro-torture, guns, pro-hoarding. They're probably a lot of, the doomsday preppers, racist. Okay, so there's that. Now, there was a Zen master from China. Now, here's a guy I can get behind. His name was Matsu. And he believed in what was called hard Zen. And I want to read to you from, I'm going to quote you some of his ideas. Matsu, 709 to 788. That's a long time ago. When the students were not doing what they should or being alert or conscious, he felt that punches, kicks, shouting, and a slap in the face would be helpful to relieve them of their ignorance. Is that so wrong? Is there anything wrong with that? Now, I am a coward by nature, physically, not emotionally, but if I could kick the shit out of Ted Nugent, I would. I can't. And he even gave me venison jerky in a bag once. That is true. No, I know, I'll get it. It's not even, I can't even read my own writing anyway. But, okay, and so then also he said there's only 3 type of relationships that people are in their lives. Host-guest, which means the host is in touch with reality and the guest is confused. Guest-guest, neither knows what's going on. And host-host, both are enlightened. Yes? So again, like if you have a alleged news person who's dealing with a person who is claiming that gays can't marry women, have to have forced transvaginal and all of that nonsense, in addition to all other lies that they tell from think tanks and all of that. Why is it indulged? Why can they not just say, look, we're stuck in a host-guest relationship here. And if I were Matsu, I would slap your face. But they don't do that, and then we don't evolve. It's a I, thou, I, it. Martin Buber, anybody? Martin Buber, I, thou, I, it. I, thou is you have respect for others. I, it is you are a Republican. And I'm not just being reductive. This is, come on. Now's not the time to mince words. They are like Britain's National Front at this point. All right, last but not least, because I think a light has been blinking. Now, this is not, I hate to drag Lady Gaga and Katy Perry into this. Because, again, they seem very nice. I don't know them, and I don't wish them ill. And I think, Lady Gaga, I'm not getting it, but I respect it. Interesting, you got a meat dress, you got a phone for a hat. You go. That's great. I'm old now. I'm not getting it. But Katy Perry seems nice. It's not my taste in music. But here's why I bring them up. They have very devoted fans, very, very devoted fans. And a lot of times when their fans are interviewed, the fans talk about part of their love for these 2 performers is their positive message. And Brian Williams once asked a Lady Gaga fan, well, give me an example. And so the Lady Gaga fan was like, she always says, never give up. You got to get some new material, people. I don't know how these things are capturing the imagination of a nation over and over again. It's too abstract for me. And then another one said, you can do anything in life you want. You know who listens to that? Stalkers, dictators. That's not a great message just to be sending out into the world. And I need more specificity. You can do anything in life you want except what you can't. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You know what? I'd love to be in a Scorsese film and be a figure skater. It's not going to happen, all right? I can't do anything in life I want. It's just not going to happen. And then you can find magic. I find magic in everything every day. Yes, go to any battered women's shelter in the South Bronx, for example. Oh, the magic. The magic. It's just, these are pathologies that afflict the human condition. I wrote that down. I meant that for the RNC and the CPAC and TPAC. And then here's for Zen. To accept things as they are and receive them as old friends. No! No thank you. Again, thanks being the theme. I say no thanks. No thanks. And it says the true source of happiness is within each of us. Hence, the unhappiness is outside of me. Right? It's coming at me. I can't do, and my positive attitude notwithstanding, and that's another thing. I know I keep saying I'm going to leave, and that's very frustrating for you. And you are welcome to get up and go. I will still continue to talk, and I don't blame you. But I had another audition recently that I did not get. No. Oh, and I'm not feeling sorry. I'm just saying I just have a lack of confidence in that area. But my manager, as always, said, "Don't worry about it. The most important thing is that you think you did well." No, it is not. The most important thing, as I understand it, is that the director or the casting agent thinks I did well. How I feel is immaterial at best. At best. And my positive attitude is no match for a bad reading. Every day is a good day. Yeah, go to Palestine. I'm not an anti-Semite. I just said Palestine. I was married to a Jewish man for 20 years. Unbeknownst to me, I'm not an anti-Semite. Great guy. Jewish and tall, 6'4". All right. Okay. I think that's. I mean, there's other stuff, but I don't. Oh, your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own thoughts. Come on. I think if somebody's wielding a weapon or whatever, my thoughts are really no match. It's like rock, paper, scissors. It's Rochambeau, whatever you call it here in Philly. All right, so I think I did that. Anyway, you guys, you know what I was going to do, but since there was only 4, I was going to do a walk around to the other room and go, hey, you're just sitting in there watching on film, but there's only 4 of them. And they could be in here by now or gone. So I guess, oh, hi. So I would say, in summation, let's stop coddling. Anti-intellectualism, misogyny, homophobia, war criminals, cultural criminals, corporate criminals, hoarders. Man, you're just not going to get anything done. And now I had an intervention, I had 2, the second one took, for alcohol hoarding, which is similar but different. That was not the case. They don't do it that way with alcohol. They don't say, we won't take anything out of your apartment that you don't feel comfortable with. I had to watch them dump Belvedere and Grey Goose, by the way. Absolute, who cares? Belvedere and Grey Goose. Then there was also a flask I had in a boot in the closet, so it was an inside job. How they knew about that, I was betrayed. But, like I said, I don't drink anymore, luckily. But I was not coddled. I resented the hell out of it, but I was not coddled, and I thought of, my whole thought process was, I'm going to think of clever ways to be drunk around these people, and they will know, because that'll show them. But it didn't work out that way. I'm sober. I do enjoy a Vicodin. Anybody who knows me knows that, but that's just for fun. That's just, and I call them Vicadoodles because it's adorable. But Grandma enjoys a Vicodin and some infomercials. I just like it, especially the one for the teeter table, which I got, by the way, and it works. You hang upside down. It's fantastic. And Bare Minerals and Wen hair care. Honestly. If you take nothing else away, Wen hair care, Bare Minerals, and the teeter table with Vicodin. Fantastic. Anyway, you guys have been very, very nice. Thank you. Good night.
Janeane Garofalo!